When we are unable to apply the advice or the processes that are supposed to lead us to the goal, it can be disempowering, or it can leave us in a disempowered state where we no longer see any path to fulfillment. The nonlinear goal system changes all that. For the love of humanity, and because you and I are so intimately connected, let's get deep with the Daily Empowerment Podcast. Daily empowerment to empower you to be wise, to be brave, and to be beautiful. I'm getting a lot of questions about what exactly is nonlinear goal setting, so I'm going to try to do a better job of explaining it. So there is a mess of goal setting advice out there. Some even give you a linear step-by-step process on how to reach your goals. And whether it is a pure self-empowerment advice or a step-by-step process, both can bring value to people's lives. However, not every goal we set out there and not every piece of advice that is given has context to our lives. When we are unable to apply the advice or the processes that are supposed to lead us to the goal, it can be disempowering, or it can leave us in a disempowered state where we no longer see any path to fulfillment. The nonlinear goal system changes all that. The nonlinear goal system is not one piece of advice or a single step-by-step process. Nonlinear goal setting system is a model that you can map any piece of advice on or process and have it gain context to your life. Understanding the model and how to use it helps you apply advice and processes to your life and helps you find ways, new ways even, of implementing them in a way that actually works for you. This is an empowering system which gives you a way to harmonize both mind and emotion. So let me give you a quick example. Like you, too, I have heard much lately about how getting 8 hours of sleep can help prolong your life, help you fight and reduce the chance of illness, help me lose weight, and give me a more productive day. Without access to a nonlinear goal setting system, I may not even know where to start. So where would you start? If you just heard that advice that getting 8 hours of sleep is so important, how do you start doing that? It's a little hard to know. So I take a look at my nonlinear goal setting model. And I say normally what I would do is probably plot a course. And I'd say, well, this is where I am now, maybe getting 6 or 7 hours, sometimes 5, to getting 8 hours. So somehow I gotta get from here to there. Right now, at least I have somewhat of a map. But now I start to set other points on this map that may not actually be exactly on that line. That may not have anything to do with directly sleeping. But nonlinear goal setting helps me ask these questions. Like, what are different ways I could change my sleeping habits? Not necessarily that I have to choose one right now, but what are those different ways? Which method of change can I see myself trying first, regardless of how it might affect my sleep? And what's one small thing I could do now to experiment with this idea? As I would go through the system, I can change and adapt my actions and my life to reflect the distance from the goal. I want to give it a quick example again. One of the favorites I've been trying to encourage you guys to do is set a time every night that you plan. Now, setting this time, not only is it helping me remember to plan, remember to look at my day, remember to be more cognizant and more proactive in my life, it also helps me regulate when I go to bed. So I have to let that thing I already have in my schedule to plan around 9 or 9:30, I have to let that also be a reminder for me to get to bed. And if I let it do that, not just help me plan, but help me start the process to go to sleep, I think I can be well on my way. Now, that goal has nothing to do with getting 8 or 9 hours directly, but indirectly, it starts to help me get on that path. And once I've been doing that for a while, I can then go back and re-examine, and I can say, wait a minute, how many hours of sleep am I getting now? Has it changed? Yeah, it has. I'm getting closer to between 7 and 9. So, it's gotten a whole lot better. That's what nonlinear goal setting helps me to do, is it takes the many of life's complexities and it gives it context. Context to help me break it down and make it more manageable. So to help you even more, how you can apply any empowerment technique to the nonlinear goal setting model, I have a Facebook page. You can go to facebook.com/Daily Empowerment Podcast. You can go to the website, www.dailyempowerment.com. You can click there to get on the newsletter, which I just sent out another first introductory response to people who are getting on the email list for the first time, and it prompts you to look at a few things and to do a few things and to report back to me. And this also gives you the opportunity, of course, to ask questions, to give any advice you want, or for me to give advice and for us to give feedback to each other. Yes, and of course, we have this podcast, the video, and the blog all set up there. We're on YouTube. I'm posting stuff all over the place as much as I can to get to as many of you as possible. You can search for Daily Empowerment Podcast on most any of your social media platforms. If you have one that you're on, I'll be happy to get on it. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Daily Empowerment Podcast. Daily Empowerment to empower you to be wise, to be brave, and to be beautiful. Remember, the views presented here may or may not be those of our management company or our affiliates, and any information you hear should first be reviewed by the corresponding professional, whether that's medical, legal, or financial, before applying it to your life. All rights are reserved by our content's creators.